I was thinking for quite a while that I should have actually started this channel or maybe recorded this video, but I think that, might as well just go for it because it's something that I want to do. I am the only actual practicing Catholic that I know. I don't have any close family members, any friends, any people that I know on a day-to-day basis, that I talk to on a day-to-day basis, that are actually practicing Catholics, that want to try to live by the faith and try to get closer to Jesus. I don't know anyone. So I maybe this whole channel is coming from a place of loneliness, but I think there are conversations that I want to have. There are things that I want to say, that are reflections that I've been having, and this is something that has changed my life in more ways than I can start describing in a single video, and that's probably going to take me a lot more videos. So the whole reason I'm doing this, maybe it comes from a place of loneliness. It comes from a place of not knowing anyone that I can talk to about those things that I want to talk about, and how much this changed my life. So I thought that, well, maybe it's a pretty good way to start the channel by giving my testimony, by giving my process of conversion, or more technically speaking, my reversion into the Catholic faith. And I want to start by saying that is like, this channel is not an apologetics channel. I'm not here to discuss Catholicism. I am not here to talk about doctrine. I'm not here to debate. I'm not here to any of those things, man. It's like I'm just a guy talking about my experience and about the things that I think about this whole thing. I'm pretty shitty Catholic. You guys are gonna get me cursing here. I'm gonna be swearing from time to time. I'll try my best not to, because I don't know, people in this niche are pretty sensitive to that. But I am Latin American. I am Brazilian. In my culture, it's pretty common to swear. So back in my city, we use swear words as comas, and they're not used with the intent of, actually meaning anything bad. They're just the way that we speak. It's just a cultural thing. So you guys are going to catch me swearing. I apologize if that's something that offends you, but I mean, it's just part of the way that I speak, and something that I'm trying to improve, actually. Now, I think the best way to start this whole conversation, man, is just by talking about how everything in my life was going pretty well, actually. I don't have a sad story. I don't have a sickness. I don't have a death. I don't have anything like that, man. It was like everything was going well. I moved to another country with my girlfriend at the time. I had a cute girlfriend. I was, studying in another country. I had a job. I was going out, visiting, seeing the city, having nice coffees, learning new things, improving my English. I had nothing to complain about, but at the same time, there was this feeling of emptiness, that there was something missing in my life. There was something that I couldn't quite grasp what it was. And I was always a very curious guy. I was always someone that liked to learn things. I was always someone that was very curious about the world and that wanted to learn about things. And for being Brazilian, and we're very culturally Catholic, but it's like I can count on, I don't know. Growing up, I don't remember having anyone close to me being friends at school or anything that were actually Catholic, right? And you had a lot of people that considered themselves Catholic. You had a lot of people that considered themselves Christians, but it was always very foreign to me, that concept. My family was never religious. My parents made sure to get me baptized and did my whole first communion confirmation. But the moment I received my first communion, that was the last day I went to church. And then it was just from that to becoming more and more atheistic, to a point that I really, thought that I knew better and thought that everything religion related was stupid. Things started to change when during the lockdowns, I had just graduated high school, and I started thinking, and really I found, at that time, Jordan Peterson was pretty famous, and I started really going deep into this whole self-improvement thing. Self-improvement led me to Jesus Christ. Self-improvement took me back to the church. I'm talking about red pill stuff. I'm talking about all those things. And now that I realize, man, the more I look at it, the people on the self-improvement space, like, think about podcasts like the Modern Wisdom podcast. I don't know if you guys know about that guy, Chris Williamson. Even Jordan Peterson is like, the more those guys, the people on self-improvement that actually wanted to learn about the truth of the world, they eventually stumble back into religion. It's like they try to reinvent the whole thing, and then eventually they get back to religion. They're trying their best to create this moral, this life framework that doesn't depend on anything transcendental, but then they eventually stumble upon this problem over and over again. And it was kind of the same thing for me. As I started learning and doing this whole thing about inquiring about what is actually true and what is the best way to live my life, I eventually, inevitably, came back to the question of religion, where we are. Who am I? What am I doing here? How should I live my life? Where I'm going after I die? And more, it started with Jordan Peterson's biblical series. That they were actually, it's like they opened a door of like, oh, now I'm willing to hear about those things. Because before that, the moment I would hear Bible or Jesus or anything like that, my mind would just immediately shut down, and I didn't want to hear this conversation. I didn't want to talk about it, because for me, it was just woo-woo bullshit, right? But that whole talk, the whole series he did about the Bible, it just kind of opened my mind to allow those conversations to happen. Eternally grateful for that guy, man. And from that on, it was just me studying more and more. And it was this whole 3-year process of me just going to the books and reading and watching videos and listening to podcasts. And it slowly turned me from completely atheist to deism. So believing in the God of classical philosophy, the Plato, Aristotle God, unmovable mover, the first cause, that God of natural philosophy, natural religion. I got to that, and then Christianity, and then at last Catholicism. And I remember the day that I got to the conclusion that is like, oh, okay, not only Christianity is correct, but Catholicism is correct. And this is what I should follow from now on. From that moment that I decided that, until the moment that I actually started attending church again, actually it was like more than a year. So it was more like it was a really odd thing. I don't know what's up with that. But I remember my reaction that day. The reaction when I concluded Jesus Christ existed, he died, he rose from the dead, and he left as a church. It wasn't a relief. It was a moment of fuck. Now I have to actually live like that. I can't just pretend that I didn't notice. I can't just pretend that, oh, this is not important. I can't just pretend that, because I cannot unsee it. That's the crazy thing for me. That was the whole studying that I did, the whole years of studying that I did. It got me to this conclusion that it's like, man, I cannot ignore this. Every problem that I find in this world, every issue that I see people facing, all this dating, hookup culture, meaninglessness, lack of anxiety, depression, all those things that I found that the church had an explanation for all of it, like an answer. They had an answer for every single one of those issues that I saw people struggling with. And whenever I saw the reasoning and whenever I understood what it actually meant, I was like, shit, this actually just makes sense. This makes sense. Why did I shut down my eyes for so long? Why did I run away from those things for so long? So in January 2025, I started attending church again. And it wasn't on my plans. It's just that for some reason at the beginning of that year, I got really, really depressed. And I remember this moment where I was coming back from work, and I genuinely wanted to jump in front of the bus. I saw the bus coming and I wanted to jump. I don't know. I had a happy relationship. I was living at my own place. I still am living in my own apartment, renting my own place by myself, abroad. Had a decent job that could pay the bills. Everything was going fine. And I wanted to jump in front of the bus. And It wasn't like, oh my God, I'm so tired, kill me kind of thing. It was like, I want to jump in front of that bus. And that scared me. That fucking terrified me, man. I was like, holy shit, okay, I have to go. And I just had this really strong feeling that I have to go. A month later, breakup, 5-year relationship. We lived together, the whole modern relationship thing. By the standards of a modern relationship, I was winning. And then boom, breakup out of nowhere. I probably wouldn't be here if I didn't start attending church a month before, because I would have been left with nothing to hang on. So God works in mysterious ways, man. Everything kind of happens according to his will. So yeah, that's how I started attending church again, and then I did the whole thing, went to confession again after 10 years, 4 pages of notes, 15 minutes in the confession booth, spoke the moment I left that booth, I felt like I was just high on coke. Like I just had cocaine and I was really high and everything was just colorful. And the whole world was just beautiful. And that I remember it was a cold ass night. Toronto, Canada. That's where I live right now. It was just so cold, man. And I just couldn't. Everything was just so good. And I just had this really strong feeling that everything was going to be okay. Now, that's kind of my testimony. That's how I came back to the faith after 12 years living as an atheist. And absolutely, it was 1,000% the best thing that I've ever did. Now, I still struggle, and maybe many other conversations that I want to have here is about those kinds of things. But I see some things that I see happening with in relationship to that. It's like all my friends are still either secular or they have other religions. I have Muslim friends. I have Jewish friends. I have agnostic, most of them. I have people that call themselves Christians, but they don't go to church or any kind of church. I live in a very secular, liberal city. I'm just a normal guy, and I want to talk to those normal guys, like guys that still want to improve themselves and maybe make money and get in shape and kind of like looks maxing for Catholic guys. And I want to talk about all those things that cross my mind, but I don't have anyone to speak with because I don't actually know any Catholics. Like I've been to a few youth groups or young adult groups, but I never clicked with anyone actually because it's like, I don't know. I'm 23. Like most people there are older. Half of them, like 70% of them, are married. So it's like, I don't know, man. This is just I never click with anyone in those groups. And a lot of the times people can be very stuck up when it comes to religion, right? They don't have any flexibility to be open to talk about things, different things. All they care about is talking. I completely understand wanting to only talk about what you convert and everything. It's like you just found this thing that fixes every single one of your problems, and you're happier than ever, and you see all those things, and you have a framework to make decisions in your life, and you only want to talk about that. But I think we lose a lot of people by just not talking about other things and with the same optics, but talking about other things, right? So yeah, I'm gonna stop extending myself here. You guys have a blessed rest of your day, rest of your week, or whatever. God bless, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.